Ladies and gentlemen, and the Crunchyroll Awards judges, Eren is the ultimate evil in Attack on Titan. This episode was absolutely phenomenal, fantastic. This completely changed, once again, the entire landscape of Attack on Titan as we know it. Eren is the ultimate evil. Who would have ever have thought that Eren Yeager would essentially time travel to make his father kill Frida and inherit the powers of the founding Titan? This is, you know what? No. Let's get into the episode. Let's discuss it. So first of all, I gotta say they did a really amazing job of recreating a lot of scenes from Attack on Titan Season 1 and Mappa's own art style. I think they reused the key thing though. Like when Grisha takes out the key, I'm pretty sure that little snippet was still from Wit, but I'm pretty sure they recreated the whole thing in their own art style, and I think it even has the same audio from Season 1. I mean, it was absolutely incredible the way they done that. Mappa are wizards, I'm telling you. The reaction with season 4 part 1 or final season part 1, whatever you want to call it, was absolutely uncalled for. It made them look like a joke, the people that were calling for death threats, calling for Wit to come back, all this ridiculousness. Mappa absolutely deserves a lot of credit that they are thankfully, hopefully now seeing, because this whole episode produced phenomenally, from the art, from the animation, all the way to things like the music, especially the music in the final scene of this episode. It was phenomenal. But I think it was important to mention here, at least at the very top of this video, that wow, they did an amazing job recreating Season 1. I wouldn't even be mad if they went back and recreated the first 3 seasons in their own style, just to make it more consistent, because man, their art style really fits Attack on Titan. So we get to see baby Eren again, we get to see MILF Carla. It's always great to see Carla in an episode of Attack on Titan. I relish it every time I see it. So the way that Zeke talks about Grisha in this episode from the beginning to the end is absolutely phenomenal. I think if there's one thing to take away from this episode, it is the character development of Zeke Yeager and Grisha Yeager in this episode, and how they finally came to understand one another, I think, by the end of this episode. So the beginning of the episode is phenomenal because I think the way that Zeke talks about Grisha is absolutely just brutal. He seems very resentful over Grisha's, air quotes, over Grisha's happy family. And you can really tell in his tone of voice that what he is looking at is just, it utterly disgusts him, because he has this idea in his head that Grisha is this person that at any cost will sacrifice his own family and his own people for his own selfish desires and goals. And those are fair feelings to have, actually, I think, because Grisha is a terrible parent. He was a terrible father and a terrible parent and a terrible husband. So yeah, I think Zeke is on the money here. I don't think this is a wrong thought to have about Grisha, at least coming from Zeke, because he experienced something truly awful and horrific. Though I think it goes to show how throughout this episode, Zeke is trying to prove that Eren is still brainwashed by Grisha. And pretty much at every point throughout this episode, Eren proves otherwise, that he's not brainwashed. I also like when they go to the King of the Walls, where Frida is, of course, and you see Grisha actually hesitate to go there, because Grisha, for most of this series has been one to go about his goals. But I think this shows that Grisha really is a changed man. He obviously wants to spend time with his family, something he really resented himself for not doing when he had his first family with Dinah and Zeke. To me, it shows that he's learned from his mistakes. He got the second chance, right? He was gonna die, and he got that second chance and he didn't waste it. And I think that's really important for Grisha's character to state that, because in his own little way, he redeemed himself. And there's a lot of redemption going on recently with many characters in Attack on Titan. Grisha is definitely one of them, I think, who, at least in terms of a family setting, has, redeemed himself a little bit. And then the first real big bombshell of this episode is dropped, and really the point where you're like, oh, something's happening here. Something really really crazy is going on. So Eren notices the picture of Zeke and Dinah on Grisha's desk, and you hear Grisha mutter in his sleep, Zeke, and he wakes up and he's like, Zeke, is that you? And he actually for a moment sees a glimpse of Zeke because he says, that old man, that old bearded man can't be Zeke. And you know, at that moment, like, oh, he legitimately saw Zeke, and you can see on Zeke's face, he is in total, complete shock. And I would be too. I mean, he legitimately saw the grown-up version of his son. That's phenomenal. And the way they did it in this episode was fantastic because as the episode continues, this happens again. So we skip to when Eren is about 9 and Zeke finally understands now that Eren is not brainwashed. They get to this part where we see what happens when Eren saves Mikasa, that brilliant episode. I think I have in an unlisted video my reaction to the manga version of that, so if you want to check that out, it's somewhere up in the cards. If not, just go to my Attack on Titan videos playlist, one of the many of them, and you'll find them there. But he understands now that he's not brainwashed, and we see the scene where Eren saves Mikasa, and that really shows that because Eren has always fought to protect freedom, and to fight against those who take freedom from other people. And he doesn't do this because somebody told him to do it. He does it because that's the way he's always been. And I love the line from Eren to Zeke where Eren says all he sees in Zeke is this bitter man who is still defined and haunted by his dead father. That is a brutal and absolutely 1000% true line. The reason Zeke does any of what he does is because of what his father did to him when he was a child. Man, that's some really heavy stuff, but as well, some very poetic stuff. And it's 100% true of Zeke's character. And it makes you think, what is going to happen after this episode with Zeke's character? Because Zeke has just been broken down pretty much this entire episode. It was supposed to break down Eren, right? That's the point of what we were trying to do here. That's what Zeke was setting out to do. As he says moments later, he wants to be the saver figure towards Eren. And I don't mean like saver. Well, he literally does want to be that too, but like the Dr. Saver, however you want to pronounce it, he wants to be the savior, like how Dr. Casaver, I get why they named him that now, figure that Zeke had in his life. He wants to repeat that cycle. Notice what I'm saying here in all these videos lately, guys. Cycle. It's everywhere. Once you see it, Attack on Titan is just little cycles repeating over and over. Little tidbit there for you in case you didn't notice. So Grisha goes to the Wall King, the King of the Walls, best girl Frida. Everybody loves Frida. And he, for most of this, just tries to convince Frida. Did this scene happen in season 3, by the way? I can't remember. I haven't seen season 3 in a very long time. It's been like a year and a half or something like that. I'm gonna rewatch it. You know what? Do you guys want to see me do like reviews of seasons 1 through 3? If you do, put down the comments below and I will definitely make that happen. I'll rewatch those episodes for sure. But besides that, so Grisha goes to the Wall King, tries to convince Frida to save everyone because Marley is coming pretty much and is going to try and have, just all this destruction, right? And take back the founder and, do with it what they will and change, just rule, right? What Marley's always done. And Grisha gets the most infuriating response, in my opinion. And I understand why Eren was extremely mad at this. Frida basically says that it is their sin that they have to carry through, and whatever happens, they have to accept and deal with because of what they've done. Frida's brainwashed. Everyone's brainwashed in this series to some extent. It's really phenomenal. I love that theme throughout, at least this season of Attack on Titan, with brainwashing and all that stuff. I mean, you even see the change in her eye color and all that stuff. I mean, she's obviously brainwashed by what happened, as we know in season 3, all the stuff revealed there, right? So it just doesn't work, pretty much. He tries, it doesn't work. He tries to reason in every way possible. Then he reveals the Attack Titan can see the future. And so what he decides that he has to do, and what he realizes, is that the Attack Titan was always meant to butt heads against the people in power, the Titans in power, the founding Titan. The Attack Titan was always meant to go against the grain, so to speak. So he realizes what he has to do. He pulls out a blade and he goes to stab his hand to kill Frida, to squash all the children as we know it, and he can't do it. Which you think at this point, like, oh, are they changing history? Is this where they're going? Because we know at this point that, like, basically time travel, right? That's what's happening right now. Is a very abstract version of time travel is occurring here. And, oh, man, this gives me goosebumps just thinking about this. This is incredible. Eren bends down, touches his father, and reminds him what he has to do. And at that point, I am like, oh, shit. What is happening right now? Eren freaking Yeager, at this point, you realize, has convinced Grisha to go through with all of this. Eren Yeager is the reason everything happened the way it did in season 1. Eren Yeager is the reason all of these events were set in place to happen the way they occurred, because it was the way it needed to happen. Because Eren Yeager is a freaking time traveler. It's insanity. Absolute insanity. You would never think that's what would be happening in the first episode of Attack on Titan. Nobody would. And so Grisha does as Eren has told him to do. And at this point, you're like, wow. Eren is the ultimate evil of Attack on Titan. There is no other way to put it than that. He is the bad guy. He is more evil than Marley in many ways, because he's set all of these things to happen and go forth with. After he is done as he is told, Grisha, he is not doing well, and he sees Zeke. After the aftermath of what just happened, he sees Zeke and he warns Zeke, things are not going to go your way. I've seen the future because of Eren, and he's going to get his way, not you, Zeke, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the best, such a heart just breaking moment, Grisha hugs Zeke and apologizes, says that he loves Zeke, says that he wish he treated him better. And you're just like, it's a really awesome moment here that he finally tells Zeke that he loves him and cares for him and that he apologizes, because this episode really gives Zeke's character and personality and whatever arc, whatever you want to call it, it gives all of that his closure to his father in many ways. And I think that's a very important thing for Zeke. And I'm interested to see where his character goes from here, because he has a lot of the conflict within himself resolved after this episode. So what is he going to do now that he's unburdened by all of these feelings of hatred towards his father? I have no idea. Either way, this episode of Attack on Titan, I said last week's episode was the best episode of the series ever, just because of how shocking it was. This is the best episode of Attack on Titan ever. This one is. This one absolutely is. We'll see what happens in the next episode. We're going to have another repeat of history again, just like Attack on Titan loves to do. But yeah, no, this is peak fiction right here. This is peak finger fiction. And it is finger licking good? I don't know what I've done. I'm going to leave. That was terrible. I love this episode. Put in the comments below what you guys thought about it, of course. And I'll have this week, before you leave, just so you know what videos I'm putting out a video on Porco. And of course, I'll have a video explaining in much more detail what happened in this episode of Attack on Titan for you guys who kind of don't understand it. So thanks for watching. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.